Hello and welcome to the Ultimate Sports Show. My name is Aaron and this is Manny. Manny, my dude.
What's up?
Great to see you again, brother. It's great. It's been a while. Obviously, things happen, just busy schedules lining each other up. We are missing somebody today, so everybody knows Medina is still part of our show. She's just not able to make it with us tonight. She will be with us on Tuesday. Tuesday, definitely, we will all three be together. But Manny, how are you, man? It's been forever. So good to see you again, dude.
Aaron, it's like I say, back like we never left.
Back like
we are
we never
finally
left.
back. We're going to bring you guys content at least 2 or 3 times a week. I just can't wait to talk basketball. Can't wait to talk to you, Aaron. Medina on Tuesday, obviously. And just to talk to you guys just watching, because I know we have our guys in the chat. I saw Big Baby Jonathan is in the chat. What's up, Big Baby?
What's up, big baby? What's popping?
What's popping, Big Baby? That's it. But can't wait to get into it. And can't wait to talk some hoops.
It's gonna be fun. So
Very
obviously, let's get into this here because we've been gone for quite a while. So I feel like it's a good start to talk about. We got to mention still the regular season. Look, it's been a while for us. So Manny, obviously, I want to know like regular season. There's so much that happened during the regular season. This NBA season as well. Also, not just to mention the regular season, but traditional West versus East All-Star game came back this year. Mm-hmm. And the new thing to add to the repertoire of the NBA regular season as well is the play-in tournament. So, Manny, what was your take on this year's regular season? Just the whole aspect of the whole season. And thank you to Matthew, Thanks for coming by, buddy.
Shout out to Matthew. Anyways, to talk a bit briefly about the regular season.
Yeah.
It was a crazy season. Like, first I want to touch a bit with the Eastern Conference. And my thoughts about the East, Aaron, is that I just think it's not as good as the Western Conference. And the reason why I say that is because, look, we all know how we feel about Boston. They're our arch rivals, but they pretty much dominated the Eastern Conference, and the rest of the teams just it just seems lesser than the West. Like, if you look at the Lakers' record, like, we could have probably been like the 5 seed if we were in the East. Like, it's crazy. Like, if you look at the Knicks, they had 50 wins, and you see the Bucks 49 wins, Cavaliers 48 wins, and then 5, 6, and 7 all had 47 wins. Aaron, that is crazy. And if I want to compare it to the Western Conference, the first 2 seeds had 57, and the third seed Timberwolves had 56 wins, and you see 51, 50, 49, 48. Like, the NBA is so competitive, and that's what I love about this league. It is so competitive. You never know what's going to happen. We're not anymore in that Cavs Warriors dynasty from 2015 to like 2018. Now we finally have parity. We've always had different teams winning since 2019. I just hope we get another winner this year. I mean, of course, we want to see the Lakers win it, but that might be a long shot. But just to talk a bit about every team, Boston Celtics, they played absolutely fantastic this season. Obviously, Jason Tatum was fantastic. Jaylen Brown was fantastic. But a team that I want to talk about also, Aaron, the New York Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
Man, did they overachieve.
The Red Hot Knicks. Literally.
The Red Hot Knicks. By the way, they won today. But as I was going to say, like, who would have thought that Jalen Brunson would have just carried this entire season for them? Because obviously there's, Julius Randle. There's Mitchell Robinson. There was RJ Barrett. Mind you, he got traded to Toronto. Good for him that he's back in Canada.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Jalen Brunson just carried that entire team. I did not think the Knicks were going to be that good this year. And they really overachieved. They finished second. Milwaukee Bucks, obviously, if I want to talk a brief about them, Aaron, it's just sad to see what they're going through. Like, Dame had a great season. Giannis had a good season. And they just flat out went down with injuries, and Indiana looks like they're probably going to eliminate them the next nights because of all that happening. Cleveland, we don't know what's going to happen in the future with Donovan Mitchell, but shout out to them for being the 4th seed. But another team, just like the New York Knicks, that I want to talk about also, the Orlando Magic.
Oh, yes.
That's a team also that really overachieved. And I don't know if you guys listen to the space that I do with Vince Size, but we also talked about it, that Orlando was a team that we had as a high riser coming into this season, and they really, really like overachieved. It's crazy. Like they're in a stranglehold with Cleveland. They're tied 2-2. That's a fantastic series. I don't know if you guys are watching that. And then you have obviously the teams that came in via the play-in tournament. Embiid obviously dealt with some health issues.
Still dealing with it.
Still dealing with it,
stuff,
exactly. Yeah. He's playing through it, exactly.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why they're in the 7th seed, because of those issues that he went through. But we all know healthy-wise, Philly's a good team. They lost today, but I'm going to talk a bit about that later on with the Knicks and the Sixers, obviously. And then you have Miami. They're always dangerous. No matter if they're low seed or if they're high seed, Aaron, they are always a dangerous team. They always fire up when it comes in the playoffs. And then, of course, the teams that sadly did not make the playoffs via the play-in, obviously, Bulls and Hawks. We all know what's going to happen with Trae Young. We all know questions around the air for him. Is he going to stay in Atlanta? Is he going to force his way out of there? And then you have Chicago, of course, that we don't know if they're going to commit to a long-term rebuild. I think they should commit to a long-term rebuild because they're stuck in purgatory. But that's no here, no there. Now, on to the Western Conference.
Oh, yeah.
If there's one team I want to talk about in the West first, man, Aaron, they another team that overachieved, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yes.
They are such a good young team. If there's obviously shout out to Oklahoma. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Especially that they don't have any other sports team there. They just have the Thunder, and that one team that they have is number 1 seed in the West. But
yeah,
obviously the Canadian bias in me is happy for them. Of course, you have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and then you have my fellow native Montrealer Lou Dort. They are just so freaking good. They are currently up 3-0 on New Orleans. And they were playing just
deep
fantastic.
too. They have a deep team.
And a very deep team as well. I didn't even mention their center that they have, Chet Holmgren. He's a monster. And of course, they have a great 3-point shooter and off the bench in Isaiah Joe. And then number 2, obviously, was no surprise. Absolutely no surprise to see Denver Nuggets as top 2 because obviously they're the defending champions. Jokic is defending Finals MVP. We knew they were going to be in the top 2. I thought they were going to get a seed.
Yeah.
But obviously that. Then obviously Minnesota, there's another team that overachieved as well. I did not think Minnesota was going to get top 3 seed, but Anthony Edwards, I literally think that he should have been in the running for MVP. I don't know how he didn't get any votes. That was crazy. I would have had him in the top 3 for MVP voting.
Oh yeah.
Number 4, of course, the LA Clippers.
Yep.
Glad to see that even though Kawhi was dealing with some health issues, Paul George has actually looked pretty healthy. I gotta give Clippers credit on that.
Yeah.
Paul George has been pretty healthy. Obviously, it's nice to see Russell Westbrook revive himself on the other LA team. He's been looking somewhat okay. Even him and James Harden have been looking somewhat okay. I'm not gonna say they've been looking great, but they've been looking okay. But another team I want to talk about as well, just to round out a bit more in the Western Conference, the Dallas Mavericks. It's nice to see that they've rebounded from last season, missing the play-in tournament altogether. They finished top 5, and they are tied with the Clippers right now, 2-2. By the way, shout out to Kyrie Irving. Today he had a great, great game. Just sucks that they couldn't get the W, but he played phenomenal for them.
Oh, he was great. Yeah. You have to also mention, you have to also give credit to the Clippers, man. They were down. They were down it was just bad. They were at one point, it was a 31-point lead that they had in the game. Obviously, don't need to mention who the teams were, but we've already seen a team blow a 20-point lead before and lose the game.
Oh,
I
I
give
know
the
you're talking
Clipper
about.
I give the Clippers a lot of credit for maintaining them actually winning that game today, because they blew a 31-point lead. And
Mm-hmm.
you blow a lead like that, there's a good chance you're either not coming back in that game and they're just the other team takes the momentum. Obviously, like Matthew was saying, is look, obviously they had a big game from PG and James Harden, man. They both went off. Paul George hit a tough fadeaway three to pretty much seal that game, seal their
Mm-hmm.
lead. The rest was history in that game. Obviously, we're going to get into more of the how deep everything's going to go in the game in just a bit. But obviously, can't count the Clippers out as much as people want to keep counting them out and think that's going to be a rout. They're competitive, and that's without Kawhi Leonard, and he's already been a talk because he hasn't been for them. He hasn't been playing. He hasn't played much at all right now. Like, I mean, he's been dealing with, I believe it's a banged up knee right now. He's
Yeah.
dealing with some soreness in it. So it's literally there are other guys really carrying them. The Clippers have a deep bench as well. So, just something to keep in mind of. You never know. That could be a big series as well. But yeah, go ahead.
No, just to jump off a bit of what you were saying, Aaron. Like,
Yeah.
even though Kawhi is hurt, we still
Yeah.
cannot count out the Clippers because
No.
Paul George is fully healthy and he is playing phenomenal. Even though people want to get on him, even that he's been dealing with injury history, he has been phenomenal. He's still averaging like the 27 a game that he's been averaging years ago in Indiana. He still has it. But then to go back a bit to the Western Conference, as I was saying,
Yeah.
like Phoenix, you guys know how I feel about teams doing 3 stars. I don't like it. But the thing is, Phoenix somehow they avoided the play-in, so I got to give them credit for that. Mind you,
Yeah.
they're playing very competitive now in Minnesota. It's a 4-point game with 156 left. I have it on my TV right now. They're playing pretty well, but sadly they might get swept. So sucks to see them go down like that. But Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, of course, have been phenomenal this year. It sucks to see Bradley Beal deal with injuries. See, that's the thing, Aaron. Like, this season has been a great season in the NBA, but the problem is that there's so many injuries. It's crazy. Like, so many teams are going down. I don't like to see that, but
Yeah.
I just like to see the competitiveness at least. Now, to go back also on with the standings, obviously, the New Orleans Pelicans, of course.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram has been phenomenal, but the thing is, they've been struggling. Like Zion has been Zion Williamson all the time, but it's nice to see Brandon Ingram play well. It's nice to see CJ McCollum play well. Jonas Valanciunas has been good, and then obviously, if we're gonna round out a bit of the play-in and the teams that didn't make it, the Lakers. I'm glad to see that we won last night. Hopefully, we can keep it up in Game 5. But against Denver, it might be tough because, especially in Denver, it's a very hostile environment to win in. And then, of course, you have the teams that didn't make it and the Kings and Warriors, but that's not here nor there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it was definitely the scoring and just the way things went in the regular season was definitely a different look. But also like we did mention a little bit of it is I was just happy to see at this point. I was happy to see the West versus East All-Star game. That actually made me watch the game again because I don't know, just something about team captains and just mixture of people on different teams. Like, no, if you're going to go back to some things, keep it traditional. Like, there's certain things that they should do. There's certain things that they should just keep traditional ways of doing and they shouldn't change it. So that's, those are one of those things. And Manny, what was your honest thought about the play-in tournament? Because there's been people that have mixed emotions about it, saying, this you shouldn't be having a tournament in a regular season. Let your team focus on the games. Don't add more mileage to your legs and the body by playing an extra few games during the year that you necessarily might not even need. So what's your take on it?
Oof, my personal opinion on the play-in tournament, basically what you asked.
Yeah.
I don't really like it. And the reason why I don't like it is because I'm very old school, Aaron. I like to see the 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5. To just see these teams like from 9 to 10, try to like play it out in the playoffs. I don't know if I like that because you're giving a shot at teams that shouldn't even be there. Like imagine for example like the Bulls and the Hawks. They
Yeah.
were under 500, 10 games under 500. To see them make the playoffs, it would have felt a little weird to see that. Just like you're under 500, like in my opinion, I don't think you should really belong there. But at the same time, the one thing that's good about the play-in that I will tell you is
Yeah.
it brings competitiveness to the league. It
Yeah.
makes these teams want to fight for the 7 and 8 seed. Like obviously being Laker fans, like we've dealt with the play-in already 3 times, and it benefited us pretty good because we've won all our play-in games. Mind you, we've stayed 7th all the time. Mind you, this year we were 8th, but we ended up beating New Orleans and we ended up going 7th. But look, it's exciting to see because these teams, they all want to duel out. I think LeBron talked about this during the bubble. I think he was saying that, like, I like the fact that we're seeing teams duel it out for the 7 and 8 seed, but at the same time, it's kind of odd to see teams under 500 try to make the playoffs. That's my personal opinion on it.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, everybody's gonna have mixed emotions on it, and feel free, everybody in the viewers, guys, go ahead and comment what you guys think of it. What your take is on it. Do you think the play-in tournament should stay? Do you think it was, do you think it was beneficial? Do you think it wasn't? But obviously, the one big thing, as we get into it more, is, and I feel like everybody's gonna have an opinion on this too.
Mm-hmm.
The officiating. The officiating in the NBA, between obviously just the regular season, the challenges, the missed calls, the replay, obviously the replay system as well, and then you have the playoffs. So what I don't get is you're sitting here saying, okay, great, you're gonna play at a much give them less contact, call people on maybe barely hand checking somebody in the regular season, but in the playoffs you're going to let people hand check and let it go and just let them play basketball. So why do you think really it's different between the regular season and the playoffs for NBA officiating? It should just be straight down the border. If you're going to play and let these guys go at it, then it should be year round. It shouldn't be just regular season versus playoffs. It should just be one straight shot the same way through.
Okay, my thoughts on this, Aaron, basically is the fact that I think it has to do with betting. Like look at Jonte Porter. He ended up getting suspended in the out of the league because maybe there could be a conspiracy theory going on that there has to be doing with something with the refs. He's telling them like call it like people like maybe the commissioner and the NBAP is maybe saying like call it this way, call it that way. People are betting on games. People are rigging games. Look, it sucks to see, but that's what's been going on. Like, I'm still not over some games that the Lakers got cheated out of. I'm not over on some NBA games that I've watched in the past where I've seen people, like you said, hand check. People have slapped people on the wrist, no calls. People slap people on the heads, and there's no calls. But yet other teams, they barely touch the other opponent, and then like they whistle, and it's a flagrant. They get kicked out of the game. 6 fouls. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it should just be, they need to just look at this, and I think this stuff, obviously you hope Adam Silver just readdresses when maybe he could see that, like, hey, there's a big difference between the refs and the officiating, just the way things go between, regular season and playoffs. So it's something hopefully they can, really dive into and fix, because obviously there's a lot of blatant missed calls, especially in the playoffs. I mean, not just for instance on LeBron, but there's just been other calls where people getting slapped in the head, missed calls when it comes to out of bounds calls, or calling players that were out of bounds, and making a turnover on them when what really shouldn't have been. Just a mixture of things, and all I can hope for is that Adam Silver really takes this into consideration and does something about it for the following season. That's all you can hope for.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, But obviously with the playoff games this year, um, it's obviously these matchups are great. Thunder Pelicans, Nuggets Lakers, Timberwolves Suns, Clippers Mavs, Celtics Heat, Knicks Sixers, Bucks Pacers, Cavs Magic. Um, Manny, in your opinion,
Mm-hmm.
which of these games are all going? Which of these matchups are going 7 games? Out of everybody between the West and the
Mm-hmm.
East, which teams are gonna make it a 7 game series?
Well, the obvious choice for me for Game 7, I'm going to pick Clippers Mavs. I think that series is going to go the distance. I find those two teams out of the whole playoffs are the most evenly matched. It's crazy. Like, if you look at the way the Clippers roster is and you look at the way the Mavericks roster is, that's a hard series to call. Now, obviously, as a Laker fan, of course, I'm gonna pick the Mavericks to win that series. But in reality, as an NBA fan, you don't know where this series is gonna go. They're so good. Like
Yeah,
you see, there's one game where the Mavericks completely dominate. There's another game where the Clippers completely dominate. I think this is definitely going to 7. But another one I'm gonna say also, I have Cavs and Magic too going to 7. That's another series too that I find is very, very evenly matched, and I could say that it could go any way possible for a
crazy.
7 game series.
You know, I want to throw this out there. I have one team that potentially could do it.
Tell me,
Who do you think I'm going to choose?
the Lakers.
You know, okay, people will sit there and count out the Lakers. Obviously, the Lakers have been the talk of the NBA and talk of the playoffs. Let's just put it this way:
Yeah.
blowing leads, the third quarters, the second half differences between energy, how the team's been performing. First half, you see a Lakers team that wants to go out there and dominate the game, up by 15, up by 20 in a game, and then all of a sudden, like, look, in the NBA, let's be clear across the border here. No lead is ever safe.
That's
At this
true.
point, like generally, obviously, you go back to that Clippers Mav game. The Clippers got very lucky because you don't find teams like when you're up by 25, 30 points in the game. It generally stays around 25. It generally fluctuates, 5, 10 point differences, but it's very shocking when you see a team just blow a lead, like blatantly just give up and let the other team have that energy to just say, hey, we have hope now. Let's keep chipping away.
Hmm.
In this case, obviously the Nuggets and the Lakers, you know what? If they can make it to go 7 games, that'd be one hell of a matchup because that would just show, look, that the Lakers don't, LeBron and Davis and D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, all those guys, including their bench too as well. It just shows that they actually have care to just say, hey, look, we need to keep the gas going here, and that's been their problem. You watch every one of these games, even in this last game yesterday. You watch this, and I think they were up by 12 or 13 points at the end of the half, and all you're thinking is, okay, here we go again. Like, how are they gonna start? How does the first 5 minutes of the third quarter look? Because that says everything. That says everything. And then within, how are you gonna close out the quarters? So honestly, look, LeBron's done it before in his career. He came back down 3-1,
Hmm.
came back and won. Obviously, don't get me wrong, that was a few years ago, and he was a little bit younger back then. But obviously, it comes down to this: he can't do this all on his own. Davis has been there. Davis has been phenomenal this year, and
He has.
people obviously we'll get into on Tuesday. We'll talk more about the MVP, six man of the year, who we think about that, defensive player of the year. If Davis is not some kind of contender for the defensive player of the year, I'm I'd just be shocked at this point because he's been phenomenal. This is the most games he's played. Nobody could say he's not helping him out. He was tremendous on the boards yesterday. And look, Dallas, I mean, in in the Dallas Clippers game too, is everybody's been great on that team as well. Look, Luka's banged up as well right now. He's dealing with a knee injury as well. Kawhi is dealing with a knee injury. Injuries are going to happen. It's about having your full squad and just people that are going to take the next step. And each of they call it the next man up mentality in the league. And if one of your star players is out, not doing great, the other guy's got to step up. Obviously in the Lakers Nuggets game, they're bench guys, the other role guys. Everybody's got to step up here and make an effort to show the energy that they need. So obviously, it should be hopefully a good series still. And you know what? Nobody's ever out till you're out. Till that buzzer's at 0 is when you're done in the game. So you never know. I still say, you know what? Could be a difference here. The Lakers and the Nuggets could go 7 games, but it just depends on what you're going to see game by game. Is the Lakers going to be as great as they were yesterday tomorrow? You just never know in this league. So, but obviously we're going to get into it as well. Speaking of tomorrow, who you got winning tomorrow? Because there's a bunch of games. Obviously Celtics, Heat, Thunder, Pelicans, Lakers, Nuggets. Manny, pick your wins down the line. Who do you got? Who do you got tomorrow winning these games?
Now, obviously, before I make my picks, something I gotta say is that I completely understand where you're coming from, Aaron, because I said on Twitter about a week ago that Lakers would win this series in 7. So I kind of do see where you're coming from, saying that we definitely could. And I think I talked about this with you off air when I said that if we win Game 5, I think we could do it because Denver is a very hostile territory to win. But in my opinion, if I'm going to give my picks to win tomorrow, I'm going to go with Miami winning and tying up the series at 2.
Okay.
Because that's gonna be interesting because they're playing at home. Mind you, they're playing at home. It's going to be... I've been to Miami. They're crazy for the Heat in Miami.
And you went to the Garden, too.
I forgot to mention that.
Don't forget that.
Also, speaking of the Lakers and Celtics, I got to go to Boston this year to watch the Lakers play the Celtics at the TD Garden in enemy territory, and I got to see us beat the Celtics without LeBron and without AD. It was such an incredible experience.
That's awesome, man. So happy for you.
It was beautiful. Yeah, thanks. I was so happy to go there. Hopefully this year I go to another one. I might be going to Miami this year. That would be interesting, but... Back to go with Miami is they're crazy for the Heat. They always do the whiteout when they're there. Their fans are nuts. I think even without Jimmy Butler, I mean they won Game 2 without Jimmy Butler in Boston, so I think they could do it again. And I think they could tie it up at 2. I think that series definitely goes to 6. But and Thunder and Pelicans. Sorry, Pelicans fans, but I think the Thunder sweep them. I think OKC is just really overpowered, and if not for Lakers or Nuggets, I think OKC would come out of the West, just because I think there's such a, like you said, they're a deep team. Yeah. You mentioned on the show, they're such a deep team, and they're so young, and I feel like they're going to be great for so freaking long, Aaron. That's my personal opinion about them.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of good matchups tomorrow. You know what? Obviously, like I still said, hey, that Lakers Nuggets game, they're taking it game by game. That's what LeBron said yesterday. He said, and Davis both said, it's just one game at a time. That's it. That's all. When you were down 3-0, all you could worry about is, okay, how can I chip away? How can I do this? How can I do this?
Exactly.
And that's it. That's anybody that's down that much in a series. When you're down 3-0, 3-1, all you got to do is worry about winning one game at a time. So we'll see what happens. I mean, hey, all you can ask for is a series. That's all the networks want. Everybody just wants to see them go out there and compete. So we'll definitely see what Laker team comes out there versus the red hot defending NBA champion Denver Nuggets. But that's going to do it for us today. Can you believe it already? First show back, and that's a wrap.
It passed by so quick already. It's crazy.
Amazing. It's amazing. But you could definitely tune in Tuesday night All three of us will be here. Manny Medina and myself will all be here Tuesday night. Time will be announced later, so make sure you are following our pages as well. If you're not, make sure you do definitely give it a follow. We are trying to be as active as possible to make sure that we keep everybody updated on our show times. But the plan going forward is to give you guys as much content, cover the off season, cover everything about the playoffs, the rest of the way. So for Manny and myself, I'm Aaron, guys. Great to see everybody. Great to have everybody on also as well. Good times, buddy. And I'll see you again on Tuesday.
See you again on Tuesday, guys.
See you guys. Take care.